What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Cybernaut Gaming channel. So today's video is going to be about the recent Epic Game Store controversy and the games that they're putting on there as exclusives that are not going to be making their way to Steam. So I'm sure you've heard in the news by now that certain games like Red Dead Redemption 2 as well as the Borderlands 3, although that one will be coming to Steam a year from now, those games as well as these games here on this list will be Epic Store exclusives, at least for the time being. I believe Red Dead is actually going to stay on the Epic Game Store only. So in this video, we're pretty much going to take two approaches to this. We're going to take an approach of the consumer, which would be myself, and the approach of the companies, like how are the companies seeing this? And this chart here that I'm going to show here in the next, I don't know, like 30 seconds or so, really does a great job of explaining why the Epic Game Store is such a problem for Steam users like you and I. At an elementary level, the Epic Store lacks a lot of features that you would find, kind of laughable at this point. For example, the Epic Game Store does not have something as simple as a shopping cart, which in my opinion, that's kind of ridiculous in 2019. But taking a look here at this chart, we can see that Epic does not have any third-party key support, account sharing, achievements, any big picture TV mode. If you're, you just want to access Steam through like your TV or something like that, you just want to get on the couch and play some games. It doesn't have anything like that. You can't broadcast. There's also some sort of Chi-Com spying or Chinese com spying. I think that's someone's attempt at making a joke that Tencent has a huge stake in Epic, and that's how they, get their data. Also, we have Epic not supporting cloud saves. It does do cross-platform account connections, which is good, like Steam and Uplay and stuff like that. You can, play with other people that may have bought the game elsewhere. It does not have curators. Both places, actually, funny enough, have selling your data to third parties. Lol. Both places have DRM free support, always a great thing. Both places have early access. Epic does not have any forums. It does have a friends list and a chat, although I would argue Steam's is much better. Epic does not have gifting, groups, inventory support, library sorting. It doesn't have Linux support, it only has Mac support, sad face. Neither platform has a loyalty program. Epic does not have marketplace or item trading. They also don't have any mod workshops or anything like that. Epic also is known for monthly security breaches, which is kind of a meme. On Steam, you can do offline play if you just want to play by yourself. That's something you can't do on Epic. Also, both platforms have an overlay, although Steam's is much better. Epic does have paid-for exclusives, which is kind of funny. With Steam, you can access player count data. You can see statistics for each game. You can see how many people are in what game at the moment. You can see how many people are using Steam at the moment. That's something you can't do on Epic. Both platforms, which I think is a good thing, allow to give refunds in case you don't like the game or you're having technical issues. Now, this is just the rest of this chart right here is just going to be straight and nose. So we have Epic doesn't do regional pricing, doesn't do screenshots or sharing, doesn't do any in-house streaming like Steam does with a Steam Link or anything like that. Neither platform does a subscription service here. Epic doesn't do trading cards, they don't have two-factor authentication, they don't have universal controller support, which if you guys have never looked at Valve's list of supported controllers, it's actually quite big. You'd kind of be surprised. Epic also doesn't have user guides, user profiles, user reviews, version rollback support in case a game updates and it just borks and doesn't work anymore. Epic also doesn't have VR support, and it also doesn't have wish lists. So that's just one of the reasons why you wouldn't like the Epic Game Store. You wouldn't like to have your games on the Epic Game Store, really. That was from the perspective of a consumer. So as a consumer, those are the reasons why I wouldn't want to go to the Epic Game Store and buy the games on there, because I'd honestly be lacking so many features. And if we just take a step back for a moment and ask ourselves, why do we keep seeing this? Why do we keep seeing more and more games get into the Epic Game Store and be announced as exclusives, aka they're not going on to Steam? Well, mostly it's because Epic Games is the maker of Fortnite, and as we all know, it was one of the most popular games and still is one of the most popular games, and they've made an absolute fortune from that. And with that money, they've gone ahead and made the Epic Games Store, and they're basically going toe-to-toe with Steam, and they're letting Steam know, hey, you can't be the only game store in town. And honestly, the other stuff that they've been doing, like they've been giving huge incentives for developers and game publishers to put their games on there as exclusives. That's the main reason why we keep seeing all these games migrating over there. All these developers and all these publishers, they have such a big incentive, especially, I forget the percentages exactly, but I know that Steam takes a certain percent of your game sales or something like that. And with the Epic Game Store, it's a lot lower, and I believe on the Epic Game Store for DLC, I believe they don't take anything from your DLC sales. So for games like Red Dead and Borderlands 3 that are obviously going to have some DLC in them, that's going to be huge. They're going to make a ton more money if they were to put their game there as opposed to Steam. Now, from the consumer perspective, this kind of sucks because, yeah, they're going to have their game on that platform and we're going to lose all of those features. And sorry, my phone just went off. But we're going to lose all those features there. And, like I was saying, like as a developer or a publisher, if you're going to make a huge amount more money there, if you're gonna make way more profit there, I mean, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you put your game on that platform? And that's where this whole controversy comes from. These developers, these publishers, they're making an absolute killing putting their game on the Epic Game Store. And from the consumer standpoint, it kind of we hate it because we lose all those features. And that's what this whole thing is about. Personally, I would like these games to come to Steam, but at the end of the day, I also have to see from the eyes of the publishers, the developers. I mean, competition's always great, but I mean, in this case, it kind of sucks because really there's only two places to go. And that's not saying I want more places to go buy games. That's the complete opposite of what I want. I would, in an ideal situation, I'd want one place to play all my games and that be it and call it a day. But that's basically where we stand right now. Also, I want to mention that I was looking through Derek Smart's Twitter earlier, and I came across, that's where I initially found that chart I showed earlier. And I kind of scrolled down a little bit more, and there was this much bigger chart that went way more into depth on the game distribution platforms and what they all have to offer and stuff like that. And I would totally go through that, but honestly, we'd be here forever. So I'm going to put it up on the screen right now. Feel free to pause it and take a gander at it. If you're on mobile, I deeply apologize, but it may be a little small for you to read. But with that said, that's going to wrap it up for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. And if you haven't subscribed already, consider subscribing for more content like this. And I will catch you guys in the next one.